Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 25. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, will be pumping $40 million more into the business process outsourcing BPO sector. Mr. Holness says the DBJ is awaiting the Ministry of Finance's approval to release the funds, which will be coupled with $73.9 million in loan support that has already been made available to the industry. The Prime Minister says once approval has been given, the money will support the provision of 13,000 new jobs in the area.
We're very happy to support this industry because it brings in employment and some amount of foreign exchange.
Mr. Holness was speaking at Thursday's groundbreaking for GTech BPO in Portmore, St. Catherine. The $3.5 billion investment will consist of three 80,000 square feet buildings with the capacity to hold 4,500 persons across 3 shifts. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang has committed to providing support for the police's efforts to reduce crime and public disorder in the Vineyard Town and Mountain View communities of Kingston. He gave the assurance yesterday during a visit to the scene of a shooting incident that happened on Wednesday at a medical center in Vineyard Town.
This area is of particular interest to us, and the government will continue to provide the support to the Commissioner of Police and his team in order for them to be able to do whatever is necessary to dismantle the criminal networks and gangs that plague the Mountain View corridor and the wider Jamaica.
Minister Chang also visited St. Teresa Preparatory School, which is adjacent to the medical center, and then went to the Vineyard Town and Mountain View police stations. At approximately 10 a.m. on Wednesday, an unknown assailant entered a medical center and opened gunfire, killing 42-year-old Clifton Brown. 5 others, including a pregnant woman and a 4-year-old boy, were injured during the shooting. The police are working hard to ensure that there are no reprisals. The security forces are also asking those with information on the recent shooting to please report it to the nearest police station or contact Crime Stop Jamaica at 311. In other news, Jamaica has positioned itself to produce internationally certified seeds through the newly refurbished seed bank facility at the Bodles Research Station in St. Catherine. The $28.7 million project was executed through a partnership between the Agriculture Ministry and the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute. The seed facility has a capacity to test and store climate-resilient seeds, as well as to micropropagate vegetative seeds with climate-resilient characteristics.
It's important as it will enable us to have a faster recovery time for the sector in the event of natural disasters, as the planting material will now be more readily available for use in the replanting exercises.
Further additions to the facility will include the installation of a cold storage room to store seeds beyond their normal lifespan. This should be completed by the end of the first quarter in 2020. Jamaica has launched its first country program for engagement with the Green Climate Fund, GCF. The move is expected to increase the island's capacity to access more climate financing while streamlining the country's actions to engage with the GCF.
The preparation of the country program and other very important activities have been made possible through the readiness grants from the GCF. At present, we are implementing 3 readiness grants with an approved amount of US $1.4 million. Jamaica is also working towards having national entities directly access GCF resources.
Minister Darrell Vaz was speaking at Wednesday's launch of the country program for engagement with the Green Climate Fund, GCF. The function also served as the opening of a national consultation on climate change. It's intended to finalize the nation's actions to deal with climate change ahead of the 25th session of the Conference of Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change to be held in Santiago, Chile in December. And finally, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is currently in Japan observing best practices on disaster risk reduction and recovery efforts. Japan was recently struck by one of the worst typhoons in the nation's history, triggering landslides and catastrophic flooding. Minister Bartlett praised the country for being one of the most disaster-resilient nations. His comments come as he tours the typhoon-affected areas of Ichihara, Chiba, alongside the city's mayor and other key officials. The tourism minister called on the mayor to document his town's highly effective recovery and resilience mechanism. He also proposed that the mayor pay a visit to Jamaica and share best practices on disaster risk reduction and management with the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. The minister also sought to strengthen Jamaica's relationship with Japan by developing a Memorandum of Understanding on Disaster Resilience between the University of the West Indies and the International University of Japan. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.